Scott Tranter, Kurt Bardella here. Scott, Director of Data Science at Decision Desk HQ. Kurt, Democratic strategist, LA Times contributor, former House GOP Oversight Committee advisor. Gentlemen, good to see you. Kurt, all right. Voters like to get things that they were promised. They were promised student loan forgiveness. It does not appear as though that is going to happen.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be bad for the Republicans, because the reason why that may not happen is because Republicans have filed a lawsuit to try to stop that. Republican justices that were appointed by a Republican president, confirmed by Republicans in Congress, are going to slap it down and make it illegal. So the blame will fall on the hands of the Republicans. I don't think that's good for them politically at all.
Scott, when we look at polling like this, and we saw that Biden's approval rating among young voters has been down to 36%, they don't seem to be blaming Republicans for this.
No, they don't. I mean, look, predominantly the polling has shown that student loan forgiveness is popular. It's popular among the 83% of the people who actually have student loans. And they also attribute it to President Joe Biden, because he's the one who championed it. He's the one who signed the bill. If this were a Democratic primary issue, and there is no Democratic primary now, this would probably be a top 2 issue for them, just because it is such a large chunk of voters. But he's going to get a take at the Supreme Court vote. And he's going to be able to see what it looks like next year, and it may be an issue next fall.
It's popular with progressive voters. It's popular with young voters.
It's popular with anyone who's owed $200-300 a month, or has $100,000.
I get that. But and I'm interested in the polling here. Do you get more people by promising to forgive student loans, or do you alienate more people who are angry about the fact that you are forgiving some student loans and not their credit card debt?
So that's a good question. I would tell you this is not what they teach you in political science class, but if you're a Democrat, you get more of your voters fired up, and you lose the voters you probably weren't going to get anyway. That is the way they look at it. And the Republican voters, they probably win a few more independents who paid off their student loans. This is an issue that's going to divide you largely based on whether or not you paid your student loans off or not, or had them or not. And so it's largely, if you're a Democrat, you're doing it because you want to show up your voters. If you're a Republican, you want to see if you can show up your voters and maybe win off a few independents.
I mean, I think Republicans have student loan debts too, so I think Scott's right. Anyone who actually owes, whether you're Republican, Democrat, in between, you like the idea of having student loans forgiven. No one's going to be against that who has it. So
nobody voluntarily pays higher taxes.
Exactly.
Right? We all know that. This goes back to an interesting issue, and because we have you guys here, I think that there's a plus and a minus, right, to this incredible vacuum that Donald Trump creates, right? Because he takes over all the airtime. We saw that today. So therefore, if you're the White House, you're totally silent because you can't really say anything to break through. Is that, I understand that being perhaps good with the base, but you think about young voters, you think about other people, it doesn't give you the ability to get your message out at all.
Yeah, it's interesting because we've talked before on this show about the idea that maybe Biden's running the shadow campaign, out of sight, out of trouble. This kind of plays into that because Donald Trump sucks up so much oxygen, and yet we've seen time and again, nobody has a more rallying effect on the Democratic progressive base than the specter of Donald Trump. So anytime he's front and center, that motivates the voters Biden needs the most without Biden even having to do anything.
One thing to add on this, we talk about it a lot on your show. The economy, jobs, inflation is a big deal. You're going to have 30 million Americans who have, on average, $200 to $300 less disposable income a month. That's going to affect hotel prices. That's going to affect flights. That's going to affect Christmas shopping. We just had CPI come out today. It looked like inflation was cooling. This is going to have some second-order effects just on the political issues, the economy issues of the day.
And I'll add one thing, too. This is where the Donald Trump thing kind of hurts Republicans. Rather than being able to use all of their firepower, making those points and actually putting the blame at Biden, they're having to talk about Donald Trump and classified documents.
Yeah, no, it's sort of the only thing going on with live pictures of Bedminster right now. Scott, to you, and when we're looking right now at the polling, and there is this sort of constant drumbeat from Trump skeptical Republicans that this is the moment, right? That all of a sudden that it's downhill from here for Donald Trump. Is there anything in the polling to indicate a weakening beneath his structure of support?
I haven't seen anything in the polling. Now, it happened today, so we're going to have to see some polling come out in a week. But if past is true, we saw an indictment in New York. We've seen, Mar-a-Lago raids, all those types of things. It seems to just shore up his support. Maybe this will be different.
I'll flip it around.
Yeah.
Is there, and I've talked about this a few times, is there a group of people who may not like Donald Trump, but would vote for him in the general election because they feel like he's been treated unfairly on this issue? Is there an identifiable group?
If you're Chris Christie, you hope so. I would say Look,
If you're Chris Christie, you hope a lot of things.
you hope a lot of things. If you're Asa Hutchinson, you hope a lot of things. If you're Larry Hogan, you wish it were the case because you probably would have changed your mind about what you want to do. I would say right now there is not a measurable group. There is a measurable group of Republicans who do not think Donald Trump is the next president. They like him. They think he may be treated unfairly, but they want to do it. But they're not going to go as far as throwing him under the bus. Now, that could change, right? We were having this conversation in June of 2015. Donald Trump's support was single digits, and all of a sudden he ran the table. So what we've seen about the electorate is their opinion changes, and we've got a lot of time left before votes are cast.
All right, gentlemen, good to see both of you. Thank you very much, as always. Great to see you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.